Greetings and welcome. This is the one and only Sugi Crawler, and this is my review out of Devilian. And I was supposed to do this review ages ago, but I was very sick during December and January, so I couldn't do it back then. And then I just never get around to play the game again until now. But let's go around what is the game's concept. I'm gonna read a bit of a description. So you play as a half hero, half devil, fighting to save the world from a fallen god, and join thousands of others to play this free-to-play massive multiplayer online action RPG, or would I say MMO dungeon crawler game. It is a bit of a dungeon crawler game, I would say. So people who play Diablo or Path of Exile may be looking into playing Devilian. And you can choose from 4 different classes. You have a Berserker, a Volker, Cannoneer, and Shadow Hunter. Each of them have their own talent trees, own abilities, skill paths, talismans, weapons, armor, and there of course the Devilian form, which enables you to transform into this Devilian creature, and you get a different set of abilities, and you do pretty much in the most cases more damage. And I have to say that one of the things that I have to point out first is you can't change the gender of these classes, and this goes kind of to Diablo 2 type of design where they were gender locked. I don't like that concept too much, but this type of a thing is kind of like set in stone sometimes with this dungeon crawler type of a genre, and you can't do anything about it essentially. And then you have a lot of PvP elements on it. Then there's also instances, which I really liked about this game, where I just could go and queue into an instance and clear with a team of friends, and blah blah blah. It was cool. You also have, a lot of quests in the game. You have trading, cities, mounts, pets that follow you, which is cool in my opinion. Guilds, alliances, wars. And there is also an auction house, but I think they had like a setting that you needed to spend $5 on the game to unlock it, or $5 in other Trion's games essentially to unlock it. And that's kind of interesting game mechanism to be added. I think it makes a lot of sense because you don't want scammers into the auction house. You don't want like thieves, spotters, and all those type of people getting access to auction house, because auction house is a very big key component of the economics of these type of games, and it can't go like to shit essentially. And I think MMO is a really good representation of in these auction houses to show how hard it is to really control the economy and not make it crash. And I think Path of Exile kind of did an interesting choice with that to stop that type of steamroll and like devaluation of the currency. But the Devilian has pretty good gameplay. I like spamming the abilities. You have some settings that you can do to change like how the movement from your mouse or attack from the mouse, which kind of make the gameplay better. And you can also use WASD. And I think there's a lot of compelling aspects to those settings. But there's not a lot of tuning up when it comes to the graphics of the game. There are like okay, mediocre. You kind of have this very Asian type of a graphical setting where I guess in Asia they have like worse PCs by general than in the West, so that's why they don't want to make the games like super hard on your PC. So from that standpoint, the game doesn't drain a lot of your FPS or doesn't have a lot of frame drops essentially. But there are some points of criticism for this game. I'm not a big fan of MMOs. I'm a variety gamer, as many know, and I like playing a lot of different games, but not MMOs. I find them very excruciatingly boring after like maybe hour in. And that's the problem that I got with Devilian. It didn't feel like a Diablo type of a game enough. It felt too MMO to me. You had like, I think one of the key distinctions is that you have a lot of currencies, you have a lot of crafting enchantments and all these type of like too many variables perhaps, which I don't like to, can't be bothered learning all of them and like getting to used to them. And then you had like a lot of stuff like quests, mounting, and all that, and a lot of grinding in the late game especially. And I think that's kind of like something that I don't really enjoy. Some people were kind of critical about not having any world PvP on the game. I think it is a good game if you really can like enjoy this MMO type of a grinding and questing. There's a lot of zones. There's a lot of, I mean, the characters also have very different play styles to them, and then you have a lot of things. I think you had an achievement system. Yeah, you have an achievement system on the game too. So there's a bunch of things you can do on the game, but if you can just sit through, I mean, like I said, the gameplay, the shooting and all that, that's kind of enjoyable, but it gets tiresome after a while if you're not a player who can get through the grind of like an MMO game, which I can't. And that's the reason why I can't play this game anymore, because I just can't enjoy this MMO type of loot systems and grinding type of play style that kinda is repetitive after a while, and quests are not very different from each other. It's usually just kill X, kill 20 boars or something like that. But just to really wrap this review up without not repeating myself a million times, I think this is a good game. It's free to play, let's remember that. It's not really pay to win. You don't have to really spend money, and if you do, that's only $5 if you want to access the auction house. The gameplay is good. I think the characters have some limitations to them in terms of like customization on the character creation, although the gears do change the look of the characters. And it has some things that are a bit unique and some things that are not, but I wasn't just a big fan of the MMO elements on the game, which were a huge dissatisfaction for me, which ended up me not liking it. But I can totally see people who like MMOs and dungeon crawler type of games totally enjoying this game and enjoy grinding in it. And for those people, it's going to be a great choice, but that's just not the game for me. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more dungeon crawler content on this channel, and I will see you soon. Cheers.